The missile strike that killed Iran's most powerful military leader, Qassem Soleimani, marks a dramatic escalation of tensions between the United States and Iran. The White House and Pentagon confirmed the killing, saying the strike at Baghdad airport had been carried out under a direct order from the president. The US airstrike sparked concerns over an escalation of regional tensions that could disrupt crude supplies. On news of the assassination, Brent crude rose just over 4%, spiking at $69.50 a barrel. That's its highest since mid-September, when Saudi oil facilities were attacked, briefly slashing output in the world's top exporter by half. Asian stocks indices were broadly lower after the airstrike. Investors turned to safe haven assets such as gold, Swiss francs and Japanese yen as they braced themselves for repercussions.
Let's bring in our financial correspondent, Uli Bartz in Frankfurt. Uli, so fears of conflict escalation in the region clearly have investors spooked. Now, what action do you think they want to see from Iran and the U.S. at this point?
Well, clearly some indication that there's not going to be the kind of escalation that people fear, and that can get quite out of hand if one side reacts too quickly and too harshly to the other side. At the moment, I don't know if that's a very realistic expectation or hope, but certainly that's what people are having their fingers crossed for, because, of course, there's so much at stake. There's talk in the market of quite drastic scenarios, a possible stock market crash if the situation worsens, a possible war, another war in the Middle East, which would, of course, dampen the prospects for all concerned, let alone the prospect of the people in the Middle East.
Scary scenarios there. So do you think this news will have a lasting impact on hopes of rebuilding the global economy after all the havoc wreaked by these trade wars?
Well, let's assume that the situation stays where it is. The oil prices have risen a bit, but they're not progressing towards $80 or beyond, and there's no war that ensues, no more fighting, no more escalation. Then, of course, you can get back to normal and say we have progress on U.S.-China trade, and that's very, very important for the worldwide economy. The Phase 1 deal signing is to be expected on January 15th. But, of course, it hinges on everything else being in place, and the markets and the economies, the people making decisions in companies not being worried about other things. And the oil price, Janelle, is such a central element to the world economy, determining how much people make, how much firms make, airlines, corporations across the world, and how much money consumers have to spend.
Thank you, Uli Bartz, there in Frankfurt for us.